Creative Talks, the ideas that inspire 11 institutions sharing a common goal for a fully European university. Creative Talks is the voice of Creative EU. It is about sharing knowledge. It is about creating potential from heritage. An alliance for positive transformation. From your university to the world, every story is inspiring. Welcome to your podcast of the moment.
Welcome to the second part of the second podcast episode dedicated to living heritage. In the following recording, we bring you a roundtable discussion held as a part of an academic conference focused on the contemporary approaches to living cultural heritage. Topics addressed include intergenerational dialogue, the role of digital tools and artificial intelligence in heritage practices, and ongoing debate surrounding authenticity and transformation. The discussion brings together experts from different fields of heritage studies and related disciplines. Among the speakers is Ricardo Trias, a professor and researcher specializing in creative conservation, restoration strategies, and innovative approaches to heritage management. Lubica Wolanska, a senior researcher and former chair and rapporteur of UNESCO's evaluation body for the 2003 convention, contributes her extensive experience in intangible cultural heritage, community participation, and safeguarding practices. Marinos Ioannidis, holder of the UNESCO Chair on Digital Cultural Heritage, offers insight into digital preservation, immersive technologies, and the use of artificial intelligence in heritage research. The panel is completed by Dmitry Sialitsky, whose research focuses on dissonant heritage, memory, identity, and community-based cultural renewal. The following recording captures the exchange of perspectives on how heritage lives through relationships, practices, and shared meanings in the present. We invite you to listen to this discussion as a reflection on the challenges and visions shaping living heritage today.
So do you see the living heritage also beyond the human agents, that not only the people create it? Can we say that not to understand it only anthropocentric way, but otherwise we are speaking still on the identity generation, you want to pass it to your family, so it's very human, it's something we want, it's our legacy. It can create also conflicts because so many people, so many heritage, so many explanations for the heritage. So living heritage could be quite tension, and it can bring people in the. So it's something which is not maybe fixed. So, but my questions go about these agents. So, can we go beyond the people or not, or how you perceive it?
Yes, in my opinion, yes, of course. But the question, for example, it's very quite different. Something, for example, with this project, Creative EU, we are seeing the map. We are in the yellow star, and the most of the countries came from a region that it's very cultural. It's very this what happens in this country, for example, during the Second World War, for example, it's very different that happens in Portugal. The things that we learn, for example, in the school, the kids in the school, it's very different. You talk, and I see in the last weeks ago, I stay in Czechia, and for example, some things that the people are concerned to preserve, for example, it's some kind of these memories. One of them causes because about these people that need to go out from these villages, And today, in the 21st century, the people are trying to reconnect it with these places. But for me, like a conservator, we see only, we only have the place. We don't have the memories, because I'm from Portugal. I don't know nothing about, I think it's not nothing, but I saw a little bit of the history of the places. But my colleagues from Czechia, they live in these areas. It's very difficult. But it's in a single visit, during 1 hour, I understand. And I try to understand, for example, the two places that are preserved in these two villages that we visit, it's the cemetery. And this idea, I don't see the people, but the connection, it's a connection from from the past to the future, because the connection is from these memories of the people. I don't know these persons. Some of them are connected and they died during the war, but some of them before and some of them after. And it's, for me, it's like it's not a shock, but it's very, because we don't have this kind of concern about this. In some of these cases, for example, who decides what the kids learn, for example, it's of course very political, but they choose to don't go for some memories, for example. In the case of the war, it's one of the examples. For example, in Portugal, it's very different. And of course, this idea of living heritage could be, in my case, it's very different, my understanding. And of course, the places of some of these monuments, for example, they have, for example, centuries of history that could be not so dramatic, for example, that a single event, but our idea is the cumulative histories, the cumulative kingdoms, the cumulative generations, and we give more, I don't know, more significance for these places about that, and not this kind of dramatic situations. It's my opinion. It's of course small, different, or could be a little bit different. I don't know if I understand. Okay.
Any other comments on this, Professor?
Yes, this what I would like to say is that having in mind this what we inherited from the past and all this knowledge, it's all about for us to learn something from the past so that we can improve the future. That's the number one. Number two is, and I mentioned that at the end of my presentation, circular economy. And that's exactly that. Learning from the past to improve the future. There is nothing better than that. And 15 years ago, do you remember that the European Union received the Nobel Prize? Do you know why we received the Nobel Prize? How old you were on that time? See, but this was a special key award. And why? I can tell you why. Because Article number 3 of the foundation, the Charter for the creation of the European Union is saying, we are united because we have something common. And this, what we have common, is culture, is diverse. And that's why we say united in diversity. Article 165 or 100 and, I don't know now because it has been changed, the Charter, several times. It says because it's so unique, this whatever we have, we need to undertake whatever measures to preserve that for the generations to come. So it's a duty, it's written down. And we received the Nobel Prize because exactly the second, the last article, and because since the existence of the European Union, we never had a war on the ground of this continent on that time. But we haven't learned from the past to sustain that. And now we have, one outside of by our neighbors. So saying this, it means that, okay, someone can say, yeah, okay, we have the libraries, we go, we learn, and even if I go and have my driver license, how many things I learn. But when it comes and the sign is saying 50 kilometers, I go by 100, yeah? Or I go 200 and I don't care. So we don't learn, yeah? So what if we continue? We are humans, and so on. So the point here is we, as the most advanced continent, and having a policy, even that, here is a part of the policy, now implementing and managing by the EU is what can we do? And this is the creative EU, and this is even beyond this what you explained earlier. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's agree that living heritage is alive. It has multiple voices, and it can be understood in the terms of sustainability. Now let's have a look in digital era. Now we are witnessing. Some call it Anthropocene, some call it we are in the age of digitalization, or this is the new epoch, or how it is connected for you with living heritage. For example, it is possible that artificial intelligence will generate these traditional songs, stories, or designs. It can be helped. It can be used for storage. It can be used for transmit to keep it. But we will inevitably, in my opinion, to see also this to generate it. How we perceive it is the part of the process, or is some distortion, or is something which can be somehow coordinated and used. How we perceive it in this. There are many topics in this, I know, but maybe what you feel the most important, or you think is the most important. Also in the terms of intangible and tangible heritage, if you wish. And also this digitalization, it makes heritage somehow vulnerable and changing very quickly. So how you perceive the role of artificial intelligence, digitalization and transformation in this?
I'm not the expert, so I'll start, so you can correct me. Well, can AI really create traditional song? That's the question.
Based on
Traditional song. Traditional songs means that it has to be some transmission from generation to generation, at least two. That means we have like 40 years maybe, as a generation might get shorter, we discussed today during the lunch. That means that AI can't produce, it can produce something that resembles a traditional song, but not the traditional song itself. And if you remember the nice definition of living heritage or intangible heritage done or offered by the 2003 convention, nobody counted.
So imagine the situation that you have the dead language that is now almost not in use. Then you can use it with the AI and you can generate the song. With this you can bring it to life.
It's not a traditional song.
Not traditional song, but it's something else. And how you perceive it? Is connected to the heritage or not for you?
It should be connected to the community of bearers. If there is no community, there is no living heritage. So for me, the answer is quite simple. When the AI will create a community, maybe some in the future.
We are the community. We are the community now, and we use it.
Not to create tradition.
Yeah. Correct.
No.
I think we have also seen a good example, for example, of how AI can be used in favor of heritage again during the keynote lecture. So, of course, AI can become the part of the whole heritage network process, yet with the role of a supporter, or again, as you have generated some stories for pupils or for tourists with it. So in this way, AI can enter, let's say, the heritage field and be of use and of help. However, yes, I totally agree that outside of this network, just in its own relationship with heritage, it's a loss. It does not exist. It should be part of the whole network, which includes the community, of course, and all the other actors and the relationships that we also have talked about. So yeah.
AI needs data, and in cultural heritage, there is a lot in data. Actually, there is nothing else except the cultural heritage. So far as capacity in data concerned. But this what it's missing, and this what I said now, is that AI needs high quality and very accurate and authentic data. Now this statement is totally different from this what I said there before, yeah? Needs data and authentic, accurate, so far as processing for whatever. Now, I still remember when we had the, human-made music, ancient Greeks had music, they had even a muse for responsible to preserve the music of the ancient Greeks. And then later, we had the different organs, instruments, and then the electric music. And that was also a human reaction. Oh, it's not like the creativity, the human creativity and all this, but several people like it, and we even use it in Netflix, and we follow up, and we somehow associate ourselves in whatever harmony. Now, by saying this, I come to the point to give you an answer. AI is going to revolutionize the, let's say, next 20 years from now. And of course, the area of cultural heritage a lot. But if we don't master the AI, and if we don't let it to be under control, then we are going to have the statement of Einstein, just erase at the beginning the radioactivity and replace it with AI. That's exactly that. Nothing else. In the Einstein statement was also in the past, the Greek mythology, you remember when the gods say fire is not coming to the hands of the humans. If fire comes, then fire is going to destroy humans. And it was forbidden, And you remember what happened there and so on. So it's a similar story now coming out. So controlling AI. The system that we use is that we push the button for AI to start by saying AI, you are not allowed to do anything else except this what I want. And the data that I am giving you, or the information which I'm giving you, are first of all certified from experts so far as high quality concerned. And then you do A, B, C, D, E to help me, to support. That was, yes.
Yes, the idea, it's only to complement the thing, because I don't understand much about this, the AI and the role, but of course I understand they have an important role in the next years, and they, of course, they transform some ideas to tell a story, for example, about a place, or to understand a place, or even to change the way that the people, for example, connected with a place. Of course, in some ways, from an individual relationship, not, for example, in a group. When we do a visit, for example, in the school, of course, they change or it's another possibility to understand or to understand the heritage. But of course, I agree with your opinion. The AI don't create nothing and do not transmit nothing. They don't have this capacity. Of course, we give the data, of course, but for me, even we give a good data, a good information, the result of this idea of transmission, the idea of tradition, it's impossible. And of course, I think if we privilege the idea of this connection between the people and the places, there is the opportunity to give this transmission, this idea of transmission, this idea of culture. And of course, the AI don't have the opportunity to give us this kind of experience. But of course, they came and they made some changes in the idea that we visit a place or we have a weekly idea from a different way to observe and to understand the heritage, like you said in the morning, to an idea to have a history for understanding the different, with a different speech from the students, for example, or from a tourist, for example. It's a different perspective, but this idea to live in the places and to have this idea of transmission, of course, I think, I don't know if it's possible, but of course they came to change some things in this area of heritage.
To add, Dimitri?
Well, I think in this regard, I've said that I do agree with what was said before. So yes, I think AI can be of help, but AI cannot be of rule, let's say, and it cannot define what we define as heritage, because it's still the matter of relationships that define heritage.
I think that we are missing one point that maybe was not so clearly said. Heritage is not understand only about the past. It's also about the future and present. We don't need to see it as a stack which is in tradition. Tradition could have can be short. I mean, you don't necessarily to have the ages. You don't necessarily to have, and heritage is not necessarily something old. Maybe, if you agree on that. There are many approaches how to define the heritage. Still, the use of AI, the people are doing it until it's not autonomous yet. So people co-creating something with AI would be beneficial for preserving, or do you see that this is too much for transformation, or you see it as loss? Can you imagine that co-creation with the use of such technologies, not only digitalization, can now be related to the living heritage and to carry the meaning, or
I understand the question, but I think, of course, we have some things that are lost, some things we transform, because this idea of authenticity, it's the idea that I have from now, but I receive this heritage, this song, this monument, this dance, but of course I don't know what is the origin. It's impossible for us to understand what is the origin. And what is authentic? It's authentic that the things that we have at the moment. And of course, if you input something new that came from AI, for example, of course they have some implications. Could be a transformation, of course, but I think it's not a loss necessarily. But of course they came with some changes. But I don't think that this it's normal that could occur some transformation of the heritage, of course. And of course we some ideas that, for example, in my field, a conservator or an art historian or an archaeologist, of course, they have a different idea that you have in archaeologists from the beginning of or the final of the 19th century. The idea is not the same, and of course, the transformation, for example, of the excavation in the field, it's different like you are doing today. And for example, something that we assist on the video, the participation of the community, for example, it's a good example that the transformation of the place, for example, some, I don't know, classic archaeologists, of course, in some cases they would not agree with this methodology, okay? And of course, you are input some transformations. Okay, in some cases we have a loss. I'm a conservator, and I tell to my students, if we're gonna do a work of conservation in a work of art, we lost something. Would be a small transformation, but we lost something. And but the idea is not to don't do nothing. No, in some cases we need to do an intervention to preserve our idea of the identity of this work of art. And this, it's a process, the intervention of conservation, it's a process of transformation, of course, of the heritage. And if the AI could put some more transformations or loss, I don't know. It's difficult for me to understand this. But of course, when we do something, we lost something. Because we, for example, if you have a painting with a layer of varnish, if they alter the aspect of the image, when we remove and replace from a new one, we are doing an alteration. And the people that see before or after have a different idea of, for example, the authenticity or the antiquity or the value. And of course, we are promoting the transformation of this work of art or monument or something like that.
That brings me to maybe the last question. What is the authenticity? What does it mean for you today? Because we can speak, what is authentic? So it's more about how the things are done, how or why they are done. So what do you see now?
Yeah. If I may ask you, what is DNA? Yeah? Ethically talking is, your existence, and is whatever reflecting from where you are coming from. And it is the evidence which is accepted worldwide, scientific evidence accepted worldwide from everybody, that it is an original fact of your origin. And exactly in the same way or similar way, we have here to do with a knowledge, with a story, with a memory. We inherit that, and we, ethically talking, our job, or your job, is, with our guidance, yes, to take care, not only to preserve it, but to undertake all the measures, ethically talking, to how to express it, to have it in the digital era in such a way, as you explained in your presentation, that there are no misinterpretations. It's crystal clear, like the DNA. That's there. It's a story there. You cannot put a question. And that's one of the greatest challenges in the digital era, having in mind the humankind interventions, the natural interventions, but also the AI, great challenges and so on to undertake. We will not manage, probably, but that's what we hand over, yeah? Yeah, what to do?
This was the second part of the second episode of Creative Talks, the Science, Heritage and Technology Creative View podcast, a talk about the challenges and visions of living heritage. Thank you for listening in.